This is section 30 from Caesar's De Bello Gallico, book 5. And Sabinus has just finished his shouting, but his side of the argument in this council of the soldiers in the winter quarters who are deciding what to do in the wake of Ambiorix coming to them and telling them that all of Gaul is going to rise up against them and that they needed to leave and go find shelter with a nearby encampment. And so, with this disagreement or discussion having been held into each part, so each side has had their say. When it was being resisted bitterly, fiercely by Cotta and those of the first ranks. So we talked about Cotta, and Cotta is the first to speak there, and he and the tribunes and the centurions of the first ranks are all kind of in this opinion that they should stay and not do anything unless Caesar says. So in response to all of this, Sabinus says, literally, conquer if you so wish. So it's basically him throwing up his hands and saying, fine, go ahead, fine, you win. And this with a louder, a clearer voice, so that a great part of the soldiers would hear him, he says. And here is what he says here. And I am not he. I am not a man who and then take the qui there with the is. So I am not he who am terrified, or I am not he who is terrified there, but the R we understand is the first person singular to agree with Sum here. He's speaking in the first person, who is terrified very seriously, very gravely by the danger of death. Now, this ex vobis goes with, I am not one of you, right? So I am not he who among you, of you, am not terrified by the danger of death. These men, you can sort of imagine Sabinus kind of doing a sweeping gesture, looking at all the soldiers looking on. These men will know if something more serious happens, literally will have happened. They will demand from you a reckoning. Who, and so now we're talking about this you, right? So Cotta, who, if it were allowed, or if it is allowed through you, on the day after tomorrow, having been joined with their nearby winter quarters, would withstand a shared casus belli, so a shared misfortune of war with the rest of the soldiers, not having been driven back and not having been driven away, far away from the rest of their men. May they die either by iron or by hunger.